So I'm going through the chart on our bill, and I'm having the customer read me those numbers. And right on our proposal, I'm entering those numbers on the proposal. And that's step number one. Step number two, I total up the numbers and compare. Total and compare. So you guys remember when I did that yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I total up the numbers and then I make the comparison. And then that comparison, I compare whatever their usage is to 7 and 11. Anybody remember what 7 and 11 was?
The amount of kilowatts for the city and the suburb.
Yep, the amount of usage for a normal house in ComEd territory in the city.
Suburbs is 11 to 15, right?
Suburbs is 12 to 15. Yep, 12 to 15. So I input the numbers, then I do a total compare. Input the numbers, total compare 7, 11, 12, 15. Step 3, total 400. So I take the total divided by 400. Let's see, can you guys see my screen here? So does anybody remember why I take the total divided by 400?
It tells you how many panels you need overall.
What's that?
It tells you how many panels you need overall.
Yep, this is old science, guys. This is how we used to do it back in the olden days. We were using we used to use 385s, 285s. 400 is such a nice number. This works on residential solar, doesn't work on commercial solar because the panels are bigger and they're 70s where we use 60s in residential. But for example, if I have 7,737 divided by 400, how many panels does this house need in this area?
20-ish.
Yep, around 20 panels. And so you can tell the customer, your house needs about 20 panels. And then you look right at a door and you're saying, hey, see that door? That's about the size of a panel. I did commercial solar for years. The commercial panels are the size of a door because they're 70 cell. Residential panels are 60 cells, so they're obviously 10 cells shorter. A cell is that little bitty square on the panel that you guys see. Probably didn't know that, but those are cells. So 60 cells are residential. Those are 10 cells shorter, but easily compare. You look at the door, you show the customer, and they always turn around and they're like, holy shit, that's bigger than I thought. And then you say, the computer's trying to figure out how many of those they can fit on your roof. If I can fit 20 of those on your roof, this house has energy for the next, 50 years. First 25 years, we're covered. Nothing to worry about. And then at that point, I go down and I click save. So I click save, and then I'm gonna go straight back, and I'm gonna go to, anybody remember where I go right after that?
The league portal where you put all the information for the meter and the account number and all that information.
Yep, I go to the opportunity profile, and I'll click edit, and I'll scroll down, and my usage is in there now. And so I'm gonna go straight down here and say, hey, Mr. Customer, since you have that bill, can you do me a favor? can you tell me your account number? And they'll read off their account number. And all I'm doing is following this down here. And I'm saying, hey, let's put the account number in. Hey, how's the address listed on there? Because I want it to be exact for your application, because I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to mess this up and do it wrong. And customers appreciate that, so they don't have to do it again. I don't want to mess this up and do it wrong. What's the address on there? Hey, can you tell me the spelling of the name on there? Yep. And then what's the date? And then can you turn it over? Show them the number. There's the meter number. Did you know that meter number matches the meter number on your meter outside? No, I didn't. So I enter all this and then I click save. That's step number 4. So step 1, I input the chart information. Step 2, total compare. Step 4, total 400. Save. Step 4, opportunity profile. And now, since I have that information entered, I tell the customer, since you have the back of the bill there in front of you, let me show you something. You see where it says supply? Say goodbye. See where it says supply? We're gonna say goodbye to those charges because you're gonna be supplying yourself. I literally said it yesterday, and she said, well, we're gonna be supplying ourselves now. She was bought in by this point. Right below that, you'll see it says delivery charge, and it says customer charge. That's the ComEd connection fee. I'll talk about that later, but we're always connected to ComEd because they want your extra energy. When you guys go on vacation, you're not using your system, your extra energy goes back, and there's the $10 connection charge that they charge us just to be connected to them. Then I go right below that and I say, unfortunately, that's not the only charge we see, because right below that, you see all the fees. So number 5 is I show them all the fees and all the charges on the back of the bill. And then number 6, I just covered all the fees. Right below that, you see that number underneath all the fees, that 105.63? Yep. What was the usage for this month? What's that number right there? And I'm showing it to them. Oh, 669. Yep. So I take that number divided by 669, and that turns into number 7, which shows me your rate. Your rate turns into number 8. Your rate turns into number 8, where I show them, remember that other number we had earlier, 7735? I take that number times 7735, and that tells us what you spent last year. Holy shit, that's a lot of money. Is that about right? And they're always like, yep. And then I show them, let's divide that by 12. Wow, you guys spent, last night, the customer spent, I think it was $108 on electricity a month. 108. I got them solar and a battery for 107. And I think my commission on that is $6 grand. Quick.
How'd you convince them to switch from ComEd bill being only a few dollars difference?
I'm not selling savings. Never once in this entire conversation do you guys hear me talk about savings, because it's not about that. So I talked to them about the possibility of applying for it and being lucky enough to get in. And then I sell the value. I'll show you guys that proposal last night. The value of having solar and battery backup for the next 25 years without having any worries, any concerns. And and you're not paying a dime to make this switch. How cool is that? Cool. Other questions? And I'll, if anybody wants to practice, do this, but I want to make sure you guys got the 8 steps. This was their usage. How many panels did these guys need?
What, 3?
So 6405, how does that compare to everyone else in Chicago?
It's just almost average.
What's the average? I don't know.
7,000.
So do it as if you were talking to the customer.
So let me see here.
Maybe that's why you ain't selling.
We'll take what? 6405 divided by 400.
No, all I want to know was compare this for the customer. Customer, you use 6,400. The average usage in Chicago is 7,000 to 11,000. In the suburbs, it's 12,000 to 15,000. You're just telling them. All you do is you tell them their total. But do me a favor, remember that number, 6405. Okay, now I gave them homework. Damn it. How the hell is Omar getting these customers to do all this stuff?